Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakrajandaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Om Vakratundaya Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigyam Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Ganapataye Namo Namaha Suklam Bharadram Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadaram Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye Sarvavignyopashantam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Ganapataye Namo Namaha 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 Om Ekadadaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ganapataye Namo
Namaste.
Welcome.
Welcome to our weekly online Satsang. Satsang being a word from Sanskrit that means community of truth. In this case, a spiritual community. Wherever two or more people who are seekers of truth come together to share their journey, we have a Satsang. And it is an essential and strengthening part of the spiritual journey. Everyone's journey is unique. There are certainly times when we journey what feels like alone, but there's really only one of us here. But we need to come together with others regularly. So if you don't have a spiritual community where you live, that you meet with regularly to meditate, to share your struggles and your breakthroughs, to share blessing and prayer, then you should start one. And it's not hard. We have an initiation video, 36 minutes long, on our website, floweringheart.org, that explains how blessing works, and it has an initiation guided meditation. If you play that video with a friend or two, and you can do it right off our website, 36 minutes later, everybody is initiated and full of the presence and ready to share blessing. So please do that. And please join us tonight in sharing the Flowering Heart blessing. You can do it even if this is your first time, because you're initiated the moment that you receive the blessing, and you are soaking in it right now. We've been sending it since the beginning of this satsang tonight, and we'll continue nonstop through to the end and beyond. So please join us. Just invite the divine to let you be an instrument of grace and to pour the Flowering Heart blessing through you. The Flowering Heart blessing is a direct transmission of divine presence, divine grace, divine love, light. It is truly awakened, enlightened awareness. It is pure spirit, and it's a gift from divine source. When the divine gave this to Suzanne and me, going on 8 years ago, the divine told us, this doesn't belong to you. It's mine, and I give it to whoever I want. It does not filter through a master or a saint or an avatar, a hierarchy or an organization. It's a direct gift from me to whoever I give it to. And it is a gift of grace. It's not earned or paid for. So the divine said, don't charge for it. And tell people that when they've received it, as you are now, tell them they're initiated to be able to give it, just by holding that intention and inviting the divine to pour through you. And then there's nothing more you need to do, except lightly lay your hands on a person's head who's in your presence with their informed consent, because it's going to do something to them. Or at a distance in prayer and meditation, you don't need to get anyone's permission to do that. Just hold that person in your heart, in your intentions, and ask the divine to pour out the Flowering Heart blessing to them, and then just feel what happens. It's a very beautiful thing. It, first of all, awakens the connection that we have with the divine source at the center of our spiritual heart. The divine isn't up there somewhere in a universe far, far away. It isn't outside of us. It's inside of us. What we've been looking for is our own sacred divine self. It is already enlightened. It is already fully divine. It's you. It's your true spiritual source within, awaiting your discovery. When we go deep enough inside, we come to this place that's pure light, pure love, and it turns out to be the divine itself. The outer world is just a mirror of the inner world. The universe dwells within. So go deep. Make that connection with the divine within, and it begins to just flood out of you from the inside out through every layer of your being, causing your spirit to be filled with the light of illumination, your soul to be freed and cleared of emotional charges and wrong thinking and programming, and reprogrammed inspired thoughts and ideas that come directly from the divine within. It floods our physical bodies, bringing healing and divine health and out into our relationships to heal them and make them right. And then out through our life situation into all the world, out to infinity, from the inside out. So Flowering Heart Blessing is a very beautiful thing. And it is a blessing to receive it. It's even more of a blessing to give it. So jump right in tonight and join us in sending the blessing nonstop to everyone who's with us tonight and those who will be watching this video in the days ahead. For there are many people who do. I don't think we have any special announcements.
No. Loves or likes?
Yeah, oh yeah. If you would please, it looks like you've been doing it, but whoever drops in and hears this, even in the days ahead, even if this is a year after we recorded this, if you're on Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up or a heart, and we go in at the end and we can see your name and see our friends who dropped in and send you special hugs and blessings after the satsang is finished. If you're watching on Vimeo, you'd need to make a comment in the chat and tell us who you are. And that would just delight us. And thank you for those of you who just did that just now. That's beautiful. Well, let's see. We like to open it to questions and answers pertaining to the spiritual journey. The journey in general could be about awakening, God realization, divine union, meditation, the afterlife, previous lives. Any questions, any areas where you would like more light and more clarity in your own understanding? Or maybe help if you've hit a challenge in your journey and you need support, you need some clarity and insight. We're here to give you that. The divine is here to give us that to give you. So your questions are welcome and really the catalyst of these webcasts. Ekaterina says, I already had my surgery. Yay!
Yay.
Everything is fine. I'm walking little by little. Thank you for your prayers. Please keep sending healing grace. We will indeed. I love hearing that. Years ago, when I knew people that got hip surgery, it was a while before they were up and walking. And then I had a friend who's a master martial artist and a swing dancer and a very acrobatic athlete. He had double hip replacement, and he got up the next day from his surgery and walked out of the hospital and wasn't in pain, which is amazing. Now, not everybody's quite that not lucky, but it sounds like you're doing very well, and we'll continue to send healing grace that your healing is complete and swift. But if you're walking already, that's just great, because that surgery was just in this past week, and it's amazing. And Joanne says, I've been overwhelmed with high Kundalini energy coursing up and down my spine for several days. I wake up buzzing every night after a few hours sleep. I feel like I'm hypersensitive right now. I've increased physical activity and meditation. It's helping a little. Any suggestions on how to stem the tide so that I can function better? Well, I'm guessing, Joanne, that you did a lot of work to get your Kundalini to rise. Why would you want to stem the tide? I've got a mantra, similar to the mantra we use in India to raise Kundalini. Got the flip mantra that tells Kundalini to come back down. But we don't like to do that unless somebody is really in a critical state, like, curled up in a fetal position and shaking or totally freaked out. To have a little trouble sleeping after so many lifetimes of being asleep, it sounds good to me. Now, you're doing the right things. You have increased physical activity. It happened to you a long time ago, but right now it's very intense. So make sure what meditation you're doing. A guy came to me a month or two ago with intense Kundalini manifestations that were too much to handle. And so I suggested that he do Taoist earth meditation, the microcosmic orbit, where the energy that comes up the spine is brought over the top of the head on the inhale, up the back to the top of the head. On the exhale, it's allowed to just flow down the front of your body to your lower belly, making a complete circle. Inhale up the back, exhale down the front. And you fold your tongue back or curl it so the tip of your tongue is touching the center of the roof of your mouth. You tilt your head forward, and with your eyes closed, gaze down toward the tip of your nose. Anytime you notice your eyes have wandered, just renew that focus with your eyes closed, but your eyes focused down toward the tip of your nose, your head tilted forward. This helps the energy the Kundalini energy to flow back down from the top of your head, down the front to the lower belly, and to reconnect to the root chakra in a complete circle. That will help. You need to do that. It's best to sit cross-legged or in a half lotus. Either way, the right leg's in front or on top. The hands are in the cosmic mudra, with the right hand on top and the thumbs touching tip to tip, down just in your lap. Or you can sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor and your back straight, not sitting back against the back of the chair, with your hands in the cosmic mudra, right hand on top, head tilting forward, tongue curled, and just breathe very slowly. And breathe from your lower belly, not up in your chest. And if you do that for at least 10 minutes, good. 20 minutes is better. 20 minutes twice a day is even better. If you're having a lot of Kundalini phenomena, you could do it even longer. Whatever feels good, till the energy begins to ground and get smoother. Another thing you can do is a very simple mudra. For a lady, you touch the middle finger with your right thumb and your index finger with your left thumb. If you're a guy, it's exactly the opposite. And I'm not talking about what gender you identify with or don't. I'm talking about just the physical body that you were born with in this case. So, if you're a guy, you would touch the middle finger on the left hand and the index finger on the right hand, just the opposite. You put your hands in that mudra on your knees, and with your eyes wide open, you just gaze at the ground in front of you. The tongue is flat. You inhale through the nose. Slowly exhale through the mouth. Softly, slowly, silently. When you inhale, you're receiving fresh energy, fresh prana from all around. When you exhale, you're releasing the stagnant chi, the fiery chi that could be agitating you, what in Chinese medicine is sometimes called toxic chi. You release that with the exhale, and it flows right out of you into the ground. And then when you inhale, you receive fresh energy from all around. That will really cool things off. It's good for if you can't sleep, if you've got some funky emotional energy going on, if you have a fever, it'll tend to cool it down. It will soften and refine and make more gentle the flow of the Kundalini energy. Often when energy begins to move, it seems like a high voltage electric wire, just intense vibrations. Zzz. But as it unfolds and it clears and it integrates, it becomes more like, instead of buzzing energy, it becomes like gently flowing water, like water flowing. So those are two little things, that earth meditation with the cosmic mudra and the eyes closed, or this mudra that I just showed you. Both of those things will help. Of course, physical activity is essential. And the most important thing isn't like hard workouts, because that can also like really stir the energy. Walking in nature is one of the best things you can do. Also, lying on the ground.
That's what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, going outside and lying in the ground in nature and grass or a garden or a park or the beach or wherever is the most peaceful and relaxing to you. And just lie in Shavasana on your back with your hands up and just surrender and feel that energy grounding into the earth. Also, another helpful exercise too is to feel your feet on the earth and feel it going at least down as deep into the earth as tall as you are. So as you're walking, feel that circular motion that Michael was talking about, like a slow walk in nature with your bare feet, and feel that energy going into the earth at least as deep as you are tall. And the energy will help start filtering the ground. The earth will start helping to filter and ground some of that buzzy, hectic energy.
From my old Chinese Taoist master so many years ago, more than 50 years ago, he one of the first things he taught me is he knew how much I wanted to like expand my consciousness into higher levels. And he said, Michael, a tree can only put its branches as high in the sky as it puts its roots deep in the earth. He showed me a cross-section of a tree. And the tree above ground with all of its branches was mirrored by the tree in the root system underground. It was exactly equal. He said, if there isn't the same depth of rootedness in the earth as there are branches going up in the sky, the first strong wind that comes along will topple that tree. And that's stuck with me through the years. It's proven to be so true. There are so many different practices that cause grounding. I mean, Thich Nhat Hanh said that his anchor was conscious breathing. And I just showed you two conscious forms of conscious meditation breathing. But the meditation that he practiced and promulgated all over the world was meditative walking. And just walking and let everything relax, let go of everything that's on your mind, and just be mindful, be aware of the birds, the sky, the ground, the people you walk by. It's very grounding. There are other things that can work very well, but there's so many different kinds, it's hard to point you in the right direction. The Qigong can be an incredible grounding and balancing practice for the Kundalini energy. But honestly, I mean, since your Kundalini is so highly awakened, and it was awakened a long time ago, there will be times where you feel it kick in more because there's an expansion, there's an elevation taking place in your consciousness. So enjoy the ride. You're fortunate. A lot of people just would love to have that.
And also be aware and conscious of any charges or programs, because oftentimes the Kundalini will start to break through blocks and things that are stored in our chakras and in our energy bodies. So as those things arise, make sure you're doing the inner work of being aware and conscious of what's coming up and how you feel about that. And the outer world's a reflection of the inner world. So if there's stuff going on in the outer world, make sure you're paying close attention to that, because that's a huge opportunity for growth, where we can become more clear and insightful as to these blocks and things that are starting to be burned through from the Kundalini energy. And be gentle and patient with yourself, because it can be quite intense. We understand.
Indeed. Any other questions?
What were their comments?
It was just Joanne saying, thanks, the energy had leveled off nicely, but recently kicked into high gear. This happened a long time ago, the awakening. I feel a shift already. 2014 it opened. Thanks. Yep. So, wonderful.
Making me feel a little flushed just hearing about it.
Any other questions?
That's a great question. I'm sure really helpful for a lot of people too. It's great when we're all participating.
When people don't ask questions, I bring quotes from famous people.
Which gives us food for thought too.
So I'll give you some. These are from a website called inspiringquotes.com. Imagine that. And this particular article is by Tony Donnell, an English writer of nonfiction and fiction living on the edge of the Amazon jungle.
Ooh.
Thank you,
Oh,
Tony.
I like this one.
It's on the benefits of being silly. Humans can be very serious creatures. I'm glad they told us that. I wouldn't have known. I'm already being silly. We contemplate existence and plan for the future, open bank accounts and pay bills, but no one, arguably, can immerse themselves solely in serious matters for too long. Not even the most dour of bureaucrats. Perhaps that's why we've evolved to utilize a very special talent: silliness. Silliness is very much a part of human psychology. As cognitive psychology professor Janet M. Gibson put it, quote, "Everybody's silly at some time. It's just that it's not identical," unquote. What's more, she explained, quote, "It takes a lot of social intelligence to know when you can be silly. That willingness to do silly things, to be playful, can be like saying, we're going to relax the constraints of the world." So there you go. It's fine to be a little goofy sometimes. It may even be necessary. But if you're still not convinced, here are some quotes about the benefits of being silly from famous figures, past and present. Here we go. "Mix a little foolishness with your prudence. It's good to be silly at the right moment." Horace. "Life is a jest, and all things show it. I thought so once, but now I know it." John Gay, poet and dramatist. "Give me the young man who has brains enough to make a fool of himself." Robert Louis Stevenson. "If people did not sometimes do silly things, nothing intelligent would ever get done." Ludwig Wittgenstein. "I was young and foolish then. Now I'm old and foolisher." Mark Twain.
He shows up in a lot of these.
"Happiness and the absurd are the two sons of the same earth. They are inseparable." "Anyone can be passionate, but it takes real lovers to be silly." Rose Franklin, author and playwright. "Children have one kind of silliness, as you know, and grown-ups have another kind." C.S. Lewis. "Think every day something no one else is thinking. Do every day something no one else would be silly enough to do. It's bad for the mind to continually be part of unanimity." Christopher Morley. What Jim Henson really wanted to do was to sing songs and tell stories, teach children, promote peace, save the planet, celebrate man, praise God, and be silly. Jerry Jewell, writer for the Muppets.
He was pretty successful.
I'd say he succeeded. Until you're ready to look foolish, you'll never have the possibility of being great. Share. The best actors, I think, have a childlike quality. They have a sort of an ability to lose themselves. There's still some silliness. Kevin Branagh. Most grown-ups forget what it was like to be a kid. I vowed that I would never forget. I also found child's play, stuff that was not considered serious but goofy, was the stuff I liked to do. So I still do it as an adult. Matt Groening, cartoonist and animator. I remember a friend many years ago who had taped a sign to his refrigerator. There's a dream dreaming us. If you try to think about what that means, it makes your mind silly. But that silliness is good. Natalie Goldberg, author and speaker. Silliness is very, very important. Very important. The other side of it is taking yourself terribly seriously, which I think occasionally, if you're a brain surgeon, I wouldn't want him to be silly when he's doing the operation. But afterwards, if he wants to go laugh around, that's fine. There's got to be a silly side to it all. Michael Palin. And the last one, if the universe is anything, it should be fun. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Nice.
Felt like we could use a little silliness.
Yeah.
And Ekaterina wrote, I agree. I love to be a silly actress in comedy. That's beautiful.
That's funny. That made me think of our grandbaby. I think she has a very serious mission on the planet at this time. She's very very astute and very aware and very into details ever since she was really, really little. I mean, she would pull on a single little thread that was sticking out. She's pretty serious, pretty serious. And when they had her first birthday, they did a smash cake, and I just started laughing. I'm like, there's no way she's gonna smash that cake, you know? So she went and she just barely touched it and put a little tiny bit to her mouth. And her mom actually went over and took her hand and like smashed it in the cake. And she kind of looked at it like, ew, what's this all over me? And last week I brought out the bubble wand, and she really liked the bubbles, but she was trying to figure out how they worked. Instead of just enjoying the bubbles, she was watching them float, and she was looking at them, and she was going, yay. Yay. I was like, I have never seen a baby do that before. Usually they're running around trying to pop them, and she was fascinated that it was like something that was solid and then just disappeared into nothing. And we encounter that every day, so I'm trying to incorporate a lot more silliness in her life and playfulness. I mean, she laughs and giggles and stuff, but she's very focused and very directed on her awareness. So that reminded me of that. It's kind of the opposite, you know. Grandma's being silly and the grandbaby's going, where does this go? How does this work?
Yeah, and in case some of you may not know Yekaterina Kiev, she said she loves to be a silly actress in comedy. She is, in fact, an actress who lives and works currently in Mexico. And so she means it. She likes to be a silly actress in comedy. That's wonderful. Joanne wrote also, when it happened, when the Kundalini awakening happened, I went to a yoga center and received Shaktipat to level out. Some of the people there were upset because my awakening was spontaneous. Yes, I know. I get it. Wow. Imagine getting Shaktipat to level out.
That's why I laughed.
I know. That's, of course, not what Shaktipat is for. Oh, I mean, it could, I suppose, because Shaktipat generally comes from a deity or an awakened master of Kundalini. And some of the divine Shakti is transmitted to awaken the Shakti and the Kundalini and cause it to rise. So if the Kundalini had been awakened some other way that was less appropriate or less healthy and balanced, I suppose Shaktipat from the divine could set it on the right path. But in general, Shaktipat is a zap that causes the Kundalini to surge.
I guess it was kind of like homeopathy.
It's like I'm feeling really nervous. I'm pretty shaky, and I don't know what to do. I'm going to drink a pot of coffee to mellow out.
Or if somebody has the hiccups, you try and scare them. Reset. Oh, that's
Okay.
funny. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Tell them about the person that came to you a month or two ago,
I
what
did,
meditation they were doing.
Oh, that's
now.
what I was starting to tell. Yeah, I was going to tell that earlier. You said you were doing meditation, more meditation, physical activity, and that's good. And then I said, of course, there are different kinds of meditation. So I showed you one, the grounding earth meditation, Taoist earth meditation is wonderful. It both raises Kundalini and grounds it deeply. Excellent. But this guy who came to me is from India. And he didn't know anything about spirituality or Kundalini. And he began to meditate using the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. Now, Om Namah Shivaya invokes the deity Shiva and is used widely, that mantra, to awaken Kundalini. Baba Muktananda would generally give Om Namah Shivaya to people when they first came to him to awaken their Kundalinis. Then when the Kundalini was fully awakened, he would tell them to begin to do the Soham meditation. Inhale on So, exhale on Ham. That's silent, but So, inhale, Ham, exhale. Over the years, we reversed it too and had them go, just to confuse everybody, Ham on the inhale and Sa on the exhale. But in the beginning, it was So Ham. And that too brings the Kundalini in a full circle. The So brings it up. The exhale, Ham, lets it flow down, like in the Taoist meditation. And when the inhale and the exhale merge and breathing stops, Soham merges and becomes Om. Quite a meditation. But the reason I was telling you this story is my Indian friend, I gave him some practices to do, including what I showed you tonight. He got in touch with me a week later and said, it's worse than ever. And I said, well, have you been meditating like I told you? He said, yes, sir, I certainly have. I said, how have you been meditating? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. It's like you're hot and sweaty and turning up the heat.
Throw some lighter fluid.
Yeah. Pretty funny, actually. So I was just going to say, if your meditation is Om Namah Shivaya and you got too much Kundalini going, you might want to mellow it out. Change it over to Soham.
Om Mani Padme Om.
or do some Taoist meditation. See, there are so many different kinds of meditation, and some is very ungrounding and will take you out of your body into space. Some of it will just raise Kundalini way up. There are others with mantra that dovetail right into that bring it up, fountain out the top of your head and bring it all the way down to the soles of your feet into the earth. That's the whole Kundalini circuit. And that's the way, like the shape of a torus. Is that what they call that shape?
Tordial field.
Tordial?
Tor.
That thing that looks like a donut?
Field. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. I'm feeling too silly.
I can see it. I just can't remember how to pronounce it.
So close your eyes if you would. and center in your heart of hearts. And invoke the divine presence. The divine presence, not just a drop of it, the entire Godhead dwells within you, as does the universe, at the center of your being. So look within and invite the presence to flood your being with grace, with light, with love, to awaken you, to cause your heart to flower with unconditional love. This being that dwells at the center of your heart is your true sacred divine self. It is all powerful, all loving, all merciful, gentle. It yearns to embrace you, to awaken and transform you and bring you into full oneness with the divine source and with all that is. This presence does not hold you at a distance or put a wall of separation between you and it. It does not put the veil there. Our minds do that. Out of self-judgment, shame, wrong programming through religious teaching. This presence loves you unconditionally, no matter what you've done, no matter what faults you think you have, no matter what you will ever do. It loves you, no strings attached, unconditionally. Open your heart and receive the flowering heart blessing. could gently open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Keep looking, just looking directly at least one of our eyes as we dive into the light meditation. During this meditation, we all keep our eyes wider. Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace and light and divine love that begins to flow through every pore of our being to you, especially through our eyes. Mystics have called the eyes the doorways of the soul. The light streams out through our eyes, into your eyes, going deep, deep, deep into your heart, causing the flames of divine love and the light of awakening to burn brighter and brighter and brighter within you. There's nothing to do but relax, receive, keep looking. Close your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace we've received settles with you. Now keep meditating as long as it feels nice to you. You could also, alternatively or later, lie down on your back in Shavasana. Find a place nearby, lie comfortably on your back, with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides, with your palms open, and just let yourself dissolve in the presence and gratitude. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow